Whoa, whoa, whoa! Did Adam Schiff expose President Trump? Let's watch this clip together. In the meantime, prepare a comment, subscribe, and we'll talk after the clip.
So we're at war with Iran. The question is, why?
The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America.
So according to the president, we are at war with Iran because they have missiles that could soon hit the United States. Here's Marco Rubio on the same subject.
And clearly they are headed in the pathway to one day being able to develop weapons that could reach the continental U.S.
Okay, so that's what Rubio says, one day. So when is that day going to come? Well, according to a 2025 Defense Intelligence Agency report, that's a U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency report, Iran will have the capability of hitting the United States with a ballistic missile in 2035. Okay, 2035, let's see. This is now 2026. That's 9 years away. So we attacked Iran because 9 years from now, they're going to have missiles capable of hitting the United States. Is that the explanation? Or is it this explanation?
If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And
okay, so we went to war because they were 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb. Well, apart from the fact there is absolutely no intelligence of any kind to suggest that Iran was 2 weeks away from having the bomb, this is what Donald Trump had to say about our last attack on Iran back in June of last year. Here he is.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Okay, so if they were obliterated in June of last year, how are they suddenly 2 weeks away from having the bomb? Well, okay, maybe he was wrong when he said that last June, so he's correcting the record now, and he would no longer claim that they had been obliterated. But wait a second, this is what he said just a couple days ago.
And I use the word obliterate because it was a complete obliteration of their nuclear potential, and that set them back very, very seriously.
Okay, so they were obliterated, but they need to be obliterated again. Clearly, this was not about the imminence of any nuclear threat coming from Iran. So if it wasn't that, well, then maybe it was this.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, when we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Okay, finally we have an answer. Okay, it's about regime change. And here's Secretary Rubio confirming this is about regime change.
We would love to see this regime be replaced.
But now wait a second, here's Secretary Hegseth saying it's not about regime change, sort of.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
Well, usually when you have an effort to change the regime, you have someone in mind to take over. So what's the administration's plan for the next regime?
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also, based on reports.
Okay, they killed the next regime, and apparently they killed the regime after that, and they apparently have killed everybody they had in mind to take over this regime. So I'm glad they're not encouraging some kind of a mass uprising without any plan in place, or are they?
Maybe this is the reason why we need to go to war with Iran and clean up the Middle East a little bit.
America is the cancer. America, the American government, secularism, democracy, capitalism, these are cancers that have spread their illness all over the world. In America and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do all this fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims don't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They won't have to, because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented.
As a rabbi, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you what I think about this situation. Yes, we need to clean up the Middle East. Yes, we need to clean up the ingrown toenail of the world, which is Iran. At the end of the day, as President Trump knows, the world is like one body. If Israel and America represent maybe the head and the heart, well, Iran is like the ingrown toenail. And when you have an ingrown toenail, that pain reaches the head eventually. One thing we're learning from this war, which is very interesting, is that even if Iran themselves don't impose the terror or the violence, it's through their proxies in the Middle East that end up being the issue. So yes, we need to go in there, we need to clean up the situation. Was there imminent threat to America? It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if America is able to dismantle the regime in Iran and give those people of that country a more normal life that they've had in the past, this will be good for the whole world, and it will help clean up the systematic hatred that comes from these Muslim countries where there is deep-rooted hatred for life, the pursuit of peace and prosperity. May God Almighty bless our troops. May God Almighty bless the people of Israel. And may God Almighty bless America.